Hi, welcome back to the Weekly Why. This week we have Parsha Ki-Tavo, making our way through the book of, let me fix the camera here, book of Devarim, book of Deuteronomy, and we have Parsha Ki-Tavo. This week, there's a couple ideas I'd like to examine, or one idea in particular, which I think is particularly apropos during the month of Elul, and especially in the lead up to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, when I think we should have that extreme sense of, of reality in our own lives. And so this is something I'd like to approach. One of the chapter 28 of the book of Deuteronomy has a lot of curses that will befall the Jewish people if they do not remain loyal to the Torah and to God. And so there's one idea I'd like to just approach, and we can hopefully examine that. So the verse says the following. It says, "Even any illness and any affliction that is not written in this book of the Torah, Hashem will bring upon you until you are destroyed." Okay, that of course is Deuteronomy 28:61. Let me read that again for you. "Even any illness and any affliction that is not written in this book of the Torah, Hashem will bring upon you until you are destroyed." That's very, very scary, because what that's saying is that you're not only going to be punished with the stuff that's already written in the Torah, the horrible things there, but all the things you can't even possibly imagine, that haven't even been quote-unquote invented yet. These are the things you're going to be punished with as well. So it's very scary. And so people have tried to, read into that and, saying it talks about the Ebola virus, or it talks about AIDS, or it talks about this and that. And so that's outside of the purview of this. But I just want to examine that just for a minute. That's a pretty scary thread, admonition. And so let's just examine what exactly that's supposed to mean and what's the connection there. Now, the Kli Yakar, the commentary, looks at this phrase, this verse, and takes us the verse before it, because oftentimes when we're looking at Torah, when we're looking at when one verse falls in front or behind another, there's a strong correlation there. So directly preceding this verse, we have a very interesting one, and it's saying, well, okay, these horrible punishments will befall who exactly? And it says, "If you will not be careful to perform all the words of your God." If you will not be careful to perform all the words of this Torah that are written in this book, to fear this honored and awesome name, Hashem your God. So again, it's very interesting wording here. What the Kli Yakar says is that this is not simply saying those who don't follow it. It's saying those who don't follow it for the sake of Hashem. What does it say here? It says Hashem your God, right? And so we could say, well, you're kind of nitpicking here, but what's really the difference here? If you're following the laws, you're following the Torah, you're following the Torah because it's Hashem your God who told you to do it. But not so. There are people, and there can be people, who they follow the commandments, they are learning, they keep Shabbat, they eat matzah on Passover, their suits are not shatnez, everything is up to par, but it's not for the sake of Hashem your God. And so I think this is a strong rebuke sometimes, and all of us should look deep within ourselves to see whether this in any way plays a part. I have no doubt that all of us have strong, real reasons for wanting to pursue growth in Judaism, but sometimes we all have kind of temptations that aren't really the right reason, that are one of the motivations for our growth in Judaism. And so we can say, well, okay, what exactly is the motivation for these people then? Why would they possibly be doing these things? Why would they be following the commandments and giving this facade of being a religious Jew if it's not for the sake of Hashem, your God? And so one of the reasons could be not feeling left out. One of the reasons could be, it's because it's what people do. It's because, all my friends are going to yeshiva or learning or doing this and that and the other. And ultimately, the purpose of Judaism, that's not the reason. The reason is that to develop that close relationship with God. And so sometimes that seems so simple and so obvious, and yet we all need that reminder. And so what the Kli Yakar was saying is that these punishments are not being meted out necessarily to people who try and fail. It's people who put on a false show, people who are doing something for all the wrong reasons, for growth for any other reason aside from trying to grow in the relationship with God. And so that's extraordinarily challenging and difficult, and I'm certainly speaking to myself among all of us here, but that's something that we should take definitely in the month of Elul and Rosh Hashanah, when we all come to God as individuals and we speak to Him, we'll have that one-on-one audience. And I hope and blessing for all of us is that we can have that absolute clarity and know why we're standing there, and we're standing there for all the right reasons. So that's Parsha Ki-Tavo, and that's it for the Weekly Why this week. Best wishes, Shabbat Shalom, and God bless.